The year was 1948 in the quiet town of Willow Creek. Where the air smelled of hay and honeysuckle, life moved at its own slow, sweet pace. It was a place untouched by the rush of the modern world, a place where a 19-year-old girl named Eleanor Whitmore could sit by the old wooden bridge and sketch her dreams into a leather-bound notebook. Her world was simple, built on the foundations of her father's farm and her mother's bakery. But simplicity, like all things, is fragile, and it shattered the day James Walker came home from the war. James wasn't from Willow Creek. He was a Chicago boy, raised on noise and smoke. The war had taken everything from him: his home, his family, his peace of mind. He arrived in town searching for work and found it mending fences on the Whitmore farm. Eleanor noticed him right away. He was quiet, with dark hair, a faint scar on his cheek, and eyes that were always searching the sky for something lost. He moved with a heavy silence that didn't belong in the town's cheerful rhythm. Driven by a gentle curiosity, she found him one evening by the creek, tossing pebbles into the water. "You're not from here," she said, her voice soft. He looked up, startled. "No," he replied, "but I'm learning to be." She smiled, dipping her hand into the cool current. "The creek helps with that. If you listen closely, it tells stories." For the first time, he laughed a rough, charming sound. "And what's it saying now?" She paused, pretending to listen intently. "It's saying, you're running from something." He froze, his gaze turning distant. She worried she'd gone too far, but then he answered quietly, "Aren't we all?" That was the beginning. Their days became woven together, spent in the fields and by the creek. She sketched while he worked, and slowly he began to share his stories, not of battles, but of the human moments in between. The faces, the unsent letters, the sound of rain on metal. In the comfortable silence they shared, something beautiful began to grow. Eleanor started writing him letters she never planned to send, pouring out the words she couldn't say aloud, how she admired his quiet strength. How her heart raced when he walked toward her through the golden wheat. One afternoon, a sudden storm trapped them in the barn, the wind howling as rain poured down. Laughing, they ran for cover. He turned to her, his hair damp, his eyes shining. "You always laugh at the wrong time," he said with a smile. "It's the only way to survive storms," she replied, and in that moment he kissed her. It was a soft, uncertain kiss that held both a question and an answer. As the thunder faded, time itself seemed to stand still. But in a small town, secrets rarely stay secret. When Eleanor's father found out, he was furious. "He's a stranger, Ellie, a soldier with no family, no roots," he shouted. "I don't care where he's been," she cried. "I care where he is." But his words struck a chord deep within James. He knew her father was right, in a way. The next morning, he was gone. He left no goodbye, only a folded letter on the bridge where they first met. It read, "Ellie, some men are meant for peace. Others carry war wherever they go. I can't ask you to wait for me or to love a man still learning to forgive himself. But know this, you are the first place that's ever felt like home." James Eleanor stood by the creek for hours, the letter trembling in her hands. For the first time, the familiar sounds of Willow Creek felt utterly empty. 10 years passed. Willow Creek changed paved roads, covered the old dirt paths, and the whistle of a train now echoed through the valley. Eleanor stayed. She took over the bakery after her parents passed, her smile a little softer, her heart a little quieter. She never married. Every evening she still visited the creek, a silent vigil of hope. Then, one morning in 1958, a letter arrived from Chicago. The return address read, "James Walker." Her hands shook as she tore it open. "Dear Ellie," it began, "I've thought of you every day. I built a life here, a quiet one, but no matter how many years passed, every sound of rain brought me back to that barn, to your laughter. I'm coming home, Ellie. If the creek still remembers me, I'll be there by the bridge on the 1st of June. Yours always, James." He was coming back. After 10 long years, he was finally coming home. June 1st arrived with a heavy, relentless rain, just like that day in the barn. Eleanor wore a simple blue dress and waited by the bridge. The creek, swollen by the storm, roared its ancient song. Hours crawled by. The sun set, the sky turned to black, but James never appeared. The next morning, the postman came to her door, his face pale. "Miss Whitmore," he said softly, "there's been an accident on the highway outside Chicago. A man named James Walker. His car went off the road." The world blurred. The sound of the rain faded into a distant hum. He had come as close as he could. Days later, a young boy named Charlie came into the bakery. "My father told me to give you this," he said, handing her a small box. Inside was a tarnished silver locket. She opened it to find a faded pencil sketch of herself sitting by the creek, her own drawing from her old notebook. On the back, an inscription, "Found this in my coat pocket. I guess I never really left." That night, Eleanor walked to the old willow tree by the creek and placed the locket beneath it. Tears streamed down her face, but this time they were joined by a small, bittersweet smile. "Then you're home now," she whispered. The wind rustled through the leaves, carrying the scent of rain and wildflowers. The creek murmured its reply, a song of sorrow, but one of eternal memory. And in that quiet, silver-lit night, two souls found their peace at last. Thank you for joining us on this journey to Willow Creek. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of love and loss. We'll see you in the next one.